so much for talking to Promfgmedia today. While am going to ask you about Kennametal, media, Bitmine, stuff like that, I want to understand a little more about you today. You know, you are leading an organization like Kennametal in
Mhm.
India. What drives you for this? I mean, is it your love for metal cutting? Is it your love for manufacturing? What exactly is it that drives you as a leader?
Very good question. Not something which I get usually, at least not in an interview.
Right.
Uh, what drives me predominantly is how do I contribute both in terms of for Kennametal's growth in the country, but also how we can play a part in building this nation. Because if you look at our products, we are a company which has been here for the last 60 years, incorporated 1964 as VDI India. We've been partnering with all the manufacturing companies since then. Today, with the manufacturing sector growth and the kind of solutions what we offer, we feel that we bring in a lot of engineering solutions to solve problems what our customers face in terms of building. For example, we participate right from making aircraft parts to let's say passenger vehicles to two-wheelers to wind turbines to gas turbines to mining. So you name an industry, we are there. But what we do is we play behind the scenes. So most of our products are going into these industries, and we help our customers achieve what they want. And that impact is very satisfying in being a part in the journey of the country's growth, just not in the last few years, but also the exciting time that we are living today and the future.
Wonderful. So I have a question related to that
Mhm.
again. Now, as you very rightly said, India is going through very exciting times. We are evolving into what we can call probably as a global economic powerhouse.
Mhm.
And the manufacturing industry, of course, is playing a big role in this.
Mm.
So, how do you see the metal cutting sector in particular playing a role in pushing India's dreams of becoming a global manufacturing powerhouse?
See, two things, right? You talked about India and manufacturing. Now, first is the domestic consumption of the country itself will grow rapidly. Now, if the economy is going to grow from roughly, let's say, 3.6, $3.8 trillion to 10 trillion at some point in time, manufacturing will play a significant role in that growth. Now, when manufacturing grows, let's say it's purely driven by domestic consumption. Now, at a $10 trillion economy, the third largest, India will be the third largest economy, and the manufacturing operations, the scale is going to be very different. So, the consumption of tooling. Now, our products are used whenever there is a machining requirement, right? You want to reduce shape parts in any metal. So, that's when the Kennametal's product come into play. So, what we do is we drive productivity, we drive better finish, we bring better technology on how our customers finish products. Let's say you want to build an aircraft, you want to build a train, you want to build a commercial vehicle, you want to build a large turbine, or let's say you want to do coal mining, because our products go in terms of how do you mine the coal. Now, every aspect we are there, and we are seeing this as an exciting journey. What developed nations saw, depending on which part of the journey they were in 1960s, 70s, 80s, or China of when China was starting in 2000, right? So we are really excited about the manufacturing sector's future and how Kennametal can help in terms of helping this each one of our customers to grow in this journey and help the country in its growth, because everything what we do is to build how the country is going to grow, and that's what our focus is.
Okay, you mentioned about providing tooling solutions wherever
Mhm.
there's a need to shape metal. You have two brands there,
Mhm.
Kennametal, of course, and then Media. How
Yes,
are these two brands doing in India specifically?
both the brands are doing well. So we while the two brands bring in very similar sort of solutions in terms of tooling, uh, Kennametal brand, what we call as a total solutions, right? It's a full solution provider. We do end to end and play in a lot of projects, specified high end products. Media is more, I would say, a value product. What we offer, it's more a general purpose products, and it goes in a higher volume. But if you look at the growth, what we have been witnessing, both have been growing very nicely in terms of there is no difference, because both the markets are growing very well. You look at top end segments, right? You want to make, let's say, an EV solution. You're talking about an aerospace component. You're talking about a medical component. What happens is we are very well positioned when we sell a differentiated solution from Kennametal. But there is also in the same customer a very large application of regular products which goes into the machine. So where Vidya branded products deliver a perfect value for customers. So both have been doing well. And we are happy to position both the products in the market. And our customers are very happy using both these products.
Great. And you also have the machining solutions with Vidma here. Do you
Yes.
want to add something on that front?
So the Vidma is a slightly different business where we provide high-end special purpose machines. We have a 5 different portfolio within Vidma. So our expertise when it comes to Vidma is understanding of customer process and also the engineering solution. So it's a very technical kind of a team, technical cell. We are not in the play of making general purpose machines. So what we do is we understand a customer requirement, and based on the component, based on what finish they want, what they need to machine, we design a machine completely from ground up based on what the customer wants. So that is where our expertise comes, and again an area where we help our customers, because these are very, very unique machines. There are sometimes extremely complex engineering problems what we help solve for our customers, and then we build a machine, we standardize it, we commission it to our customers. Now, when we look at the broad range, what we give is special purpose machines is the bulk of it, what we supply in Vidma. We have vertical turning lathes, which are on, we operate on the large size in that. Then we have tool and cutter grinders, which goes into making of tungsten carbide drills, which is again one of the few players, or rather the only player who manufactures in India, design in India, manufactured in India. Then we supply a lot of fixtures to large automotive OEMs. And we have something called deep hole drilling machines, which is one of the earliest products of Vidma. So I think if we'll summarize it, again, I started with this. Our expertise is understanding customer process, customer requirements on what they want to finish, and then designing the machine based on what. So it's a very custom solution what we offer, and hence we pride in the solution what we offer to the market.
Right. You spoke about the aircraft
Mhm.
solutions that you have, the automotive industry
Mhm.
that you serve. So traditionally, if you look at it, Kennametal has been very strong when it comes to transportation, energy, general engineering, and of course aerospace. Do
Mhm.
you see these sectors driving the growth for your organization, or do you also see new sectors emerging there?
I think these sectors, if you look at India, all of them are growing. Transportation is growing, aerospace is growing, wind is growing, wind energy is growing. But there are also a lot of other sectors which are coming up. Let's say railways is very, very interesting because of the kind of investment what the country is making, because you need to machine all the bogie frames, you have locomotives. So you have a lot of application when it comes to railways. Electronics, right? Suddenly we are seeing a surge, significant surge in electronic manufacturing. Electronic manufacturing uses a lot of tooling. So that gets very interesting. Then you look at areas like construction equipment. India is going to be the third largest construction equipment industry in the world, and most of it is being made in India. Now, this off-road, what they call off-road vehicles and construction equipment, this is again a high-speed growth sector for us. So if I look at some of these large sectors, while our traditional sectors of transportation, aerospace, energy, general engineering will grow, we're also seeing a significant acceleration in areas like railways, electronics, construction equipment industries, which are also sizable. You can have a segment which is small and grow faster, but these are pretty large segments, and we are expecting it to go at a very rapid rate.
So, Vijay, traditionally speaking, transportation, energy, general engineering, and of course, aerospace have been the strong driving growth areas
Mhm.
for Kennametal in India. Do you see these areas continue to drive the growth? And if yes, besides these sectors, do you see any other sector contributing to your growth here?
See, given how the Indian economy is going to perform, we expect transportation, aerospace, general engineering, energy continue to grow. But in addition, what we are seeing is looking at the investments, what's happening. Railways is getting very interesting for us because of the kind of capex which is going on. So locomotive manufacturing, bogie manufacturing, there's a lot of machining happens when it comes to railways. So railways is getting interesting. Electronics manufacturing is going to get interesting with the kind of localization which is happening in the country. And electronic, especially when you talk about mobile handles, devices, the frames, there's a lot of machining which happens on that. So that gets very interesting segment. Third is construction equipment. As you know, India is going to be the India's world's third largest construction equipment industry, also very sizable. And a lot of it is going to be made in India. So construction equipment industry or off-road vehicles is also going to be interesting. So those three are going to get very, very interesting. There are other areas which are not driven by domestic consumption, but also will get very interesting is component manufacturing for sectors like oil and gas, which is going to be, because we see a lot of our customers now manufacture for, let's say, customers who are in Middle East, customers who are in US, driven by oil and gas components which are required. So that again is a very strong zone for us. And oil and gas also as a segment, like for example, valves which go, is a very interesting segment. So those are the big four, because I just want to stick to large segments where there is a lot of mega trends and also driven by a lot of policies and investments which are happening in the country.
Within automotive industry, there's
Mhm.
a huge emergence of the
Mhm.
electric vehicle segment.
Mhm.
How do you see the overall cutting tools industry adapting itself to cater to the kind of new needs of this industry?
See, EVs, at the end of the day, when you look at EVs, what has happened is, what has changed is the engine. Right? You still need a shock absorber, you still need a, let's say, a gearbox. So the application wise, it's still machining, because it's still that comes as a metal. And we have, thanks to Kennametal's global technology and R&D efforts, we have kept pace with all the EV transition, material changes, and all that. So we have been able to supply to a lot of our customers, be it in US or in Europe and in India or in China, when it comes to EV manufacturing. And we have been very conscious about the tracking the changes which are happening when it comes to EVs, what new machining needs are there. Is there a shift in the type of material? Because what drives machining is the material. If the material changes, then what kind of solutions one needs to give? And if the weight has to be reduced, what needs to be done? So there are a lot of engineering, design, R&D work which has happened to make sure that we are ahead of the curve when it comes to EVs, and also support our customers. Because if you look at who makes EVs, except few brands, most of it are traditional brands who were operated for decades and decades through an internal combustion engine. So what we do is we work with the customer, and they come back and tell us, okay, we are making this, how we need to look at the process, what kind of tooling will work. So we work with the customers at an initial stage, at a project stage, and then we evolve the solutions what helps in an EV manufacturing. So that's how we have kept, and EV is it's a big focus segment for Kennametal.
Okay, great. If you look at the overall manufacturing industry,
Mhm.
not just in India but even globally,
Mhm.
digitalization is a big trend today.
Mhm.
Going ahead, it's not a trend. Most people are accepting it as a necessary tool to achieve their business goals. How does Kennametal look at this entire process of digital transformation, and what are you doing on that front?
See, digital transformation is no longer a buzzword in my view, right? It's no longer a poster child. It's not a jargon to be used. We live in a digital world. We live in a digital economy. That's a reality. Now, right from how you reach a customer to how do you process an order, how do you provide a solution, how do you close a sale, is all digital today. We may not realize it. We are already adapting to a lot of digital areas. And plus, what happens in a shop floor? Let's assume somebody has an ERP system or a platform which is connected devices, right? I don't want to talk about words like Industry 4.0. Let's say today all machines which are installed are capable of AI, ML connected devices. So what happens is, you want to measure the performance of a particular tool, you can do it with the data, right? What do you do in terms of analysis? Now, the machines what we make in MSG are capable of Industry 4.0. We can connect it to a platform wherever customer wants it, to track the performance of the tool, to track the incoming, outgoing performance, the yields, and all that. So there is a lot of digitization which has already happened in the manufacturing process, but it has happened through evolution. So we may not notice as the new equipments have come in. We have relied a lot on equipments which have sensors. It has programming. It collects data. It sends data to a platform. It gets sends data to a server. Now we play in that industry. So what we look at is, if there is a customer who wants to see a performance of a product much before the machine is installed, much before the tool is tried, we can simulate it, right? That's digitization. The other example is, let's say there's a particular component and you need 50 different tools which are needs to be chosen by the customer. We can actually simulate that entire machining process through a software. We can do the entire tool selection through a software and say that this is how the component machining process will be. These are the steps, these are the tools. Now that's digitization. Now, COVID accelerated quite a bit. For example, when we are commissioning machine, traditionally we have to send people, 3-4 engineers. In COVID, we couldn't send, especially if you are international destinations. We had to use VR tools, right? And we have to use remote commissioning, and that was done through these kind of devices, and it has worked spectacularly. And sometimes the situation forces one to adopt digital technology in a very rapid manner. So these kind of adoptions, be it right from sales processes, let's say people processes, how our products are used at a customer end, how do we service customer requirement, how do we market products, how do we train customers, how do we communicate, how do we close a sale. Every aspect of it has migrated to digital. So what we do is, if somebody wants to put together a slide, you can connect the dots and say how much of impact digital has had. What it has done, it has helped speed to market. It has helped train our customers, sales team, distributors much more efficiently and faster. We are able to resolve customer complaints much more faster. We're able to communicate to customers way faster. And in all aspects of our business, we have become more productive. So that's the digitization for you.
Wonderful. So you answered the question from customer centricity point.
Yes.
I have a slightly different question for you now. How do you look at technology as an enabler of workforce excellence? While you are using technology to serve your customers better, how are you using technology to ensure that your own people are empowered enough to ensure that they deliver what the customer wants, and at the same time they work more efficiently and more happily?
See, I think let's take sales teams, right? Because that's the front end focus. Let me start with that team. Now, technology adoption is something which has to be driven. I don't know whether it's year on year or sometimes it's much more faster. Many years back, let's say we were taking virtual presentations, then we did PowerPoints. Today, we send information through mobile, right? It need not be emails too. YouTube videos. So if you are in front of a customer, you want to show a performance of a product, and one can run a YouTube video to show that, okay, this is how the machine works, this is how component works. Now that makes it more real for the sales team. Now technology adoption is how creative one can get in leveraging. For example, the leveraging of social media for business is a very powerful medium whenever our teams are productive. So I'm going to give two different examples, right? One is internal communication itself, right? Your employee motivation, engagement, and all that. How are you adopting technology for that? Now, the leveraging of social media on the platforms to keep employees engaged, motivated, communication is a very powerful medium to do it. It's just not somebody speaking, but an event. You do a live capture of an event. Everybody is connected through a technology, right? Today, you can do a town hall remote. People don't need to be there, and it's real time, feels real, right? And that's what technology has done. It has got people very close, and it's easy to communicate to people. Similarly, when we are talking about customers, my example of, okay, this is how a product will perform. Earlier, people will take a sample, say that we'll mount on the machine. Now, people just go, take a mobile or an iPad, they show that, okay, YouTube, click on a video and saying, this is how my machine is, this is how it's going to perform, this is my tool, this is how it performs, this is how the whole thing is. So what happens is, one is how connected you are to the person you are going to connect. It could be internal, it could be external. And that is what technology adoption has helped us in Kennametal. And you're going to continue to evolve when it comes to technology. Tomorrow it's going to be AI. Now, how do you leverage AI for this whole process, right? We are already living in the world of AI. It's not about use of chat GPT is just not alone AI, right? The AI is much more broader. And how do you use artificial intelligence in terms of arriving tomorrow purely on machining? It's going to be very, very powerful medium for us. And Kennametal being a technology leader, we will be a little ahead of the curve when it comes to adoption of all these technologies. And there will be a day where I think our customers will just speak to a computer and they'll get the answers because the AI will drive a lot of it.
But equally important is the part about the planet, sustainability. And Kennametal has always been focusing on the planet part. So what are you doing on that front, particularly when it comes to recycling of the tools?
Yeah, excellent question. Very close to my heart because I keep talking about ESG, climate action, and all that. Firstly, Kennametal has published the third ESG report globally. We published our first we are a listed company in India, so we published our first BRSR reporting where we have mentioned quite a bit in terms of what work we have been doing in sustainability. While your question was very pointed, I'm going to give a little more broader. Today, 93% of energy what we use in this site, the Kennametal India Bangalore site, 93% is renewable, which is either it's a solar power what is used to in a manufacturing process. Similarly, some of the waste which gets generated today, it does not go for a landfill or something. It goes for a processing plant in a cement plant. Now, so we look at every aspect of it. How do you treat water, right? How efficiently are you using energy? What are the processes? And now coming to your specific question on tungsten, what we do is, while we do not have a recycling plant in India, whatever we can collect, let's say all the process waste inside the plant, customer returns used material, whatever comes to us, we ship it back so that we can reclaim. One of the advantages of tungsten carbide is you can recycle it many times, right? You have to purify it, and some amount of this recycled carbide can be reused in the products. And Kennametal is committed as a company to see how much we can get and how much we can recycle, because to that extent we reduce new mining, right? And as a responsible global corporate citizen, and also keeping in mind responsibility of saving the planet, we are also consciously seeing that how much further we need to push in terms of the reverse logistics of collecting used tungsten carbide tooling, and how you can do the recycling and reuse the material so that you leave a greener planet.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for talking to us, and we wish you a great journey.
No, thank you. Thanks a lot for this interaction.